Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest from the live radar, run through the weather warnings. We have got Storm Kathleen arriving this evening into tomorrow, not only bringing some very heavy rain in the west, especially overnight tonight, some very strong winds tomorrow, but we're also seeing some very warm air with this system. It's a pretty bizarre area of low pressure. It's approaching from the west, but it doesn't fully push through. And what that means is for a period of time tomorrow, we see a very far-fetched southerly wind. For parts of eastern England, we could be seeing 40-mile-per-hour gusts, but also temperatures into the low 20s with ridiculously warm upper air temperatures. So we've got a lot going on over the next 24 hours, and we'll have a look at the latest weather warnings for that, and also look at the latest UKV, looking at the temperature, precipitation, and those wind gusts over the next 5 days. And then we'll explore what's going to be happening as we head towards the middle of the month, as we have had a lot of interest in higher pressure making a bit more of a mainstay as we head into the middle of April. Now, some of the runs today are going a little bit off kilt by showing that high pressure moving up more to the north, which could allow cooler airflows to come in. Now, of course, it's the middle of April, so it's very difficult to see something very cold, but this is a little bit of a spanner in the works, as we thought that, yes, high pressure building in, but we didn't think it was going to really turn into a northern blocking feature. But that's what some of the runs like the GFS are doing today, and that would be another shock to the system if we went from 20 degrees this weekend back down to single digits in around 7 days' time, if that run did come off. But we'll have a look at that in detail in the second half of the video. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, which you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. If you start on the live radar, you can see there is some rain across Scotland at the moment, and this is all associated with Storm Kathleen. You can also see a warm front here down to the southwest that is slowly moving northwards and eastwards. Now, it is forecasted to fizzle out into just a bit of cloud and a few areas of drizzle, but it is still holding some of its intensity in place, especially through South Wales there. So we'll have to see exactly what happens with that, because with Storm Kathleen, we're not really expecting any significant persistent rain for areas to the east. If this weather front did move through, then we would see some rain. But as I said, the forecast is for this to reduce in intensity. But as you can see, it's still it's a bit of a feature at this stage. We'll have to see what happens over the coming hours. If you do put on the temperatures, you'll be able to see it's still chilly across Scotland, but the temperatures are starting to rise, and they'll rise further as that warm front clears and opens the floodgates to this very warm air moving up from Spain, Portugal, and southern France, and it's going to allow the temperatures around lunchtime tomorrow, as I'm recording this, around 16-17 hours time, to get up towards 21, 22, maybe even 23 degrees. Now, I've said this a few times over the last few days, a bit unfortunate that the upper air temperatures are going to get cleared away very quickly. Those warm conditions are going to get cleared away by sort of 1 or 2 p.m. They had held around another few hours. Wouldn't be surprised to hear 25 degrees because of the strong sunshine we're starting to see. It is a ridiculously warm air mass, as we'll see in a minute. Now, if you look at the weather warnings, you can see all the weather warnings do kick in tomorrow, and it is mainly just rain warnings. It's from 8 a.m. tomorrow until 10 p.m. for Storm Kathleen. Now, initially, it's going to be a little bit of a two-way event. We're going to see rain moving overnight, and then the winds are really going to pick up. We're unlikely to see them massively coincide in most areas. So actually, when the strongest winds do move in, it probably will be a bit drier. But you can see it has been updated. It has been updated this morning. Strong gusts are now expected across some parts of the warning area. So we have seen the likelihood increase here, moving up from the very low likelihood to now just low likelihood, still with medium impact. So a small risk we could see an amber warning, but now only a matter of 12 hours away from the start of the winds moving in, or very strong winds moving in. I doubt we'll see much change. But you can see again, we're looking at 50 to 60 miles per hour pretty widely in this region, maybe as much as 70. So not ridiculous, but still very strong and could continue to cause issues through much of Saturday. Now, if we do have a look at the latest UKV, you can see early this morning, we did actually see some heavy snow across the Highlands of Scotland, but milder areas moving in now, and that snow will move and melt away. Already has probably melted away through today. You can see the weather front associated with Kathleen moving in tonight, but UKV completely dissipates it across parts of England and Wales, whereas on the live radar it is holding its intensity. So UKV underdoing it a little bit there. But you can see pretty heavy rain moving in around midnight for many western areas. Further eastwards, drier but still pretty cloudy. As we head into Saturday morning, as I said, as the strongest winds arrive, the heaviest rain's actually clearing northwards of Scotland. Still will be some squally showers around, but the big wall of rain, that is now gone well out into the North Sea and the North Atlantic. And then we pull up the very strong southerly winds, and then at this point, doesn't look spectacular here on the precipitation chart, but it could be very warm and muggy in the east, especially where we see some sunshine in East Anglia. But yeah, it could be a really bizarre feeling morning and lunchtime tomorrow. So if you have got plans to be outdoors tomorrow, definitely go out in the morning. It's going to be pretty bizarre out there. It's going to be the first blast of warmth that we've had in around 6 months or so. Temperatures set into the low 20s. Not only the temperature is going to be warm, but the upper air temperatures are exceptionally warm. So it's going to feel really warm and muggy out there. Strong sunshine. Is going to feel like we're in July, most likely. But that warm air does get pushed away, and something that we're seeing cropping up a little bit now on this latest UKV run is a few heavy showers sparking out in the west through Saturday evening. Now, of course, that warm air has to get swept away by a cold front at some point, and that happens through the afternoon, and you can see through the evening we could see a line of pretty severe rain or even thunderstorms breaking out here. Now again, I've not spoken about it too much because it wasn't really in the model output over the last couple of days, but it's cropped up in this latest UKV run and could cause some issues through Saturday evening as that heads northwards and eastwards. Now luckily it's moving through pretty quickly, but it looks like a little bit of a squally feature and could have some very heavy rain within it. And you can see it's the sort of last line of defence where the milder air, I wouldn't say the very warm air, but the milder air is getting pushed by much fresher Atlantic air. So the proper transition from something above average back to average or below average, and that's why we're seeing that moving through. You can see as we head into Sunday, it's actually a much better day. Still some showers around, westerly wind, fresher feel. So yeah, it can be quite a contrast to Saturday. As we head into Monday, heavier rain returning, especially in the west, and it could be pretty unsettled there. And into Tuesday, that rain slowly spirals away, and we see generally drier conditions, but with plenty of showers. With this westerly winds, look like a typical April showers sort of day there on Tuesday. Fresh air mass, yeah, absolute typical April showers day. Strong sunshine, fresh air mass, cold Arctic upper air temperatures, and it means that we're going to see some big convective showers sparking off, likely to see some hail, thunder and lightning with this, especially the further westwards and northwards you are. So yeah, Tuesday could be a pretty lively day, but it's one of those typical April days we see, where we see the strong sunshine warming up the land, colliding and giving strong convection when we do have cold upper air temperatures. You can see the upper air temperatures though tomorrow. Look at that, exceptionally high for a couple of hours through the morning, around 14 to 16 widely, and could even peak at 17 or 18. That's creeping up from northern France. Those are the sort of air masses that we would expect to see low to mid 30s with in midsummer. But of course, we're still in probably the first half of spring, and it's going to only deliver 21 or 22, but it's going to feel bizarre out there. Even up towards Scotland, upper air temperatures up towards around 10 or 11 degrees. So it's going to be warm up and down the country. Now, if you look at the max temperatures now, you can see through today, it's been mid to high teens. It actually hasn't been too bad today across England and Wales, but it's not been anywhere near as warm as it's going to be tomorrow. If you move towards tomorrow morning, you can see even by 8 or 9 a.m, it's going to be 16 to 18 degrees. Look at that, 9 a.m, widely 17 or 18 degrees. That's ridiculous. And you can see the peak temperatures are going to come around 11 or 12, around that 20 to 22 degree mark. You can see, though, by around 2, 3 p.m, temperatures are dropping, which is not what you'd expect. You expect them to peak at 2 or 3 p.m, but it's because that warm air is getting pushed away. You can see into Sunday, it'll still be pleasant, maybe 16 or 17 degrees, but it'll be a fresher feel with a stronger westerly wind, with those upper air temperatures being around 10 degrees cooler. Into Monday, similar picture, again warmest in the east, and then into Tuesday, fresher air is wrapping in from the northwest. Temperatures back down to around 10 to 12 degrees. So much cooler, colder day with those April showers. So feeling like we're back in early spring instead of feeling like we're in summer, like we're going to feel this weekend. If you just find look at the wind gusts, you can see overnight tonight the winds are really going to start to pick up, probably around the early hours of Saturday, and they're going to peak around lunchtime to early afternoon, around 50 to 60, maybe, as I said, as we saw in the weather warnings, up to 70, maybe a localised 80 off the west coast of the Republic of Ireland, before slowly petering out into Sunday, but still remaining blustery in the north and west, with the strongest winds really dissipating on Monday. But then we could see this another feature move in. That needs to keep we need to keep a very close eye on this, as after Kathleen we could see another system named if this does really crop up. But at this stage it's still a very small system and still could be swayed quite significantly, still being around 4 days away. So you need to keep a close eye on that. So if you do now have a look at the longer range, you can see the southerly winds arriving overnight tonight. Very warm upper air temperatures with Storm Kathleen. Eventually that dissipates away. You see that next low arrive on Tuesday could be pretty lively with that. And then we just go into a westerly flow. And then as we get towards the middle of the month, we see that high pressure build. But look what happens. It's not over the top of us anymore, not to the south. It's out to our northwest. And it's pushing in a north or northeasterly wind. And this is what happens all the way to the end of this run. A typical cold and snowy winter chart. But being mid-April, just chilly, maybe frosty, and pretty miserable. With this, with consistent northeasterly winds, this would not be great at all. Look at that, upper temperatures down to minus 10 degrees over Scotland, and look at that, well below average for the time of year. I'd say that is really quite a change, really quite horrible. Now, I'm not going to say all ensemble members and runs are going for this, but there's definitely been a little bit of a shift in it. I don't know what's actually caused it, as we have this just seeing high pressure to our south or over the top of us over the past few days, giving us strong hints of something warmer and something drier, whereas this would be probably drier, but it would be pretty chilly indeed. After you compare to the GM, see what that has in store. Again, southerly winds over the coming days, the westerly winds return, high pressure builds over the top of us, but it kind of oscillating with a bit of a wavy pattern, a bit of a zonal sine wave here. So not really going anywhere near the GFS, but not being particularly great either. Still would introduce pretty fresh air masses with this northwesterly, and would probably still be pretty unsettled as the jet stream is coming in full steam off the Atlantic. Now finally, if we compare to the ECMWF, again, southerly winds over the next few days, and then we see the westerly winds return, high pressure building in, but once again, look at that, day 10, it's reaching towards Greenland. Trying to push in a northerly wind, and you see the upper air temperatures are starting to drop quite substantially. Again, not a positive signal if you want something a bit warmer. Again, we'll have to see exactly what happens with this, but yeah, going to be one we have to keep a very close eye on, as this is sort of moving around within the models. And this high pressure system could cause warmer, dry conditions, or as we've seen today, could even cause some cooler, drier conditions as well. Now, if you look at the ensembles, you can still see it is favoured generally to be above average in the middle of the month, with a big spike tomorrow. But look at those runs appearing, including the operational run, much cooler from around the 14th, 15th onwards, for after a few days of something a little bit warmer. So that's that high pressure moving in initially with warm air, and then moving northwards, bringing cooler air in as it moves up towards Greenland and Iceland. Again, not guaranteed to happen, still plenty of milder runs, but quite a few colder runs are cropping up. We definitely know it's going to be high pressure dominated because the precipitation is low and it's getting lower every single day. So high pressure building in looks likely for the middle of April, but it's where it goes and what sort of temperatures it gives us. See the 2 meter temperatures here definitely dropping. Look at that, the operational run down to only 7 or 8 degrees come the 17th of April. That's not good at all. That would be horrendous. Whereas you can see tomorrow towards 20 or even 22 or 23. Now, if you compare to the Eastern WF, we'll have a look at the midnight run. Similar picture. Very warm spike tomorrow. Then we see warmer upper temperatures arriving for the middle of the month, but then dropping with quite a few colder runs cropping up. Still ensembles around average overall, But yeah, definitely some cold runs appearing. Still looking pretty dry, which is a good signal. But yeah, a lot of uncertainty coming in with those upper air temperatures, all really due to the exact positioning and orientation of that high. Because if it is further northwards, pushing in a northeasterly wind round the high pressure system, then it could cause some trouble with colder air. But if it does stay over the top of us, then it could be fairly pleasant. But we'll have to keep a very close eye on that. But for the time being, we've got to get through the next couple of days with Storm Kathleen overnight tonight into tomorrow. Going to bring some very wild conditions. So if you are in the east, enjoy the warmth, enjoy the really bizarre conditions. If you are further westwards, try and stay safe out there in those wind and rain. And of course, there is even the risk of some thunderstorms tomorrow night, but we'll probably update that through tomorrow as we get a video out in the afternoon. So we'll look at that in detail tomorrow if that still is cropping up. So make sure you watch out for that. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.